Welcome, and thank you for joining for another whiskey review. Today, we're going to take a look at the Port Charlotte PMC 1 2013, Dustin. PMC, what's that mean? I'm not sure, but the
Pomerol matured cask.
Yep, bang. That's what it means. We just figured it out
That's
live.
what I'm here for.
That's Dustin's here for, these little quips. 54. 54.
Slightly quick on my feet.
54.5% ABV. So, Dustin, we're impressed with Port Charlotte in general.
Yeah.
We were super impressed with the OLC.
Oh my God, that was great.
And I was going to make a purchase, and I needed to...
Buddy bottle.
Yes, buddy bottle for shipping. That's exactly what it is. Trying to mitigate shipping.
You never order one bottle when you ship, guys. You always get at least two.
Always get at least two.
Buddy bottle.
Think about it, Keith. It's $50 to ship a bottle. It's $60 to ship two. How are you not getting a second bottle?
Right.
That's just math. That's just physics.
Why not get three then? Is that logic?
Amen, brother.
Well, because the third one's now at 100.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Even numbers usually, because their boxes are designed for
So
two.
then why not get quads?
It's all about packaging. All right. So again, Port Charlotte, another distillery we've been super impressed by. Have quite a few incarnations. We like to go back and forth between how much of a step down is this from Octomore in many regards.
So I'm already hearing 14.2 versus this is going to have to happen at some point.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, so I've had a chance to try this Pomerol wine, if I'm saying that correctly. I'm not too familiar with that, but it's 5 years in those type of casks and 4 years in Ex-Bourbon, 9-year-old whiskey in general. Gentlemen.
That's super unique too, Mike. Usually when you get like a 9 or 10-year-old, the majority of the time
bourbon
is spent in the bourbon.
Yeah,
and then because wine casks are pretty aggressive, so the fact that they put 5 years is interesting.
That's not like a super dark color. Surprise!
Well, it's got good color.
It is Ex-Pomerol, but remember, we don't know what kind of wine this is because we've never looked it up. It could be a white wine. I don't know.
Right. Let's get to it. That beautiful Port Charlotte smoke.
I'm just getting classic Port Charlotte initially on this. It's just that clean smoke,
clean chimney,
sweet whiskey.
Clean chimney.
Brook Laddie and Port Charlotte, man, they're just, that distillate is on par. I don't know about on par. It's up there with Springbank to me.
It's a good distillate. There's no doubt. It's gritty. It's earthy comparatively. It's a little more grainy to me, but it's.
And it's the only other distillery that
game.
I get that sugar dough cookie note like prominently on most of the expressions.
Yeah, this is kind of that mix between, like you just put out fresh charcoal and you got it, going, and wood smoke. I don't know which one's the more accurate note, but it's kind of somewhere between those two. And that clean smoke,
twiggy smoke.
I've always said when the Pope gets elected, it's white smoke. As I've always said, I don't know. It seems like it smells that way. But I tell you what, guys,
that's what the Pope-mobile smells like.
I'm getting a ton of strawberry notes from this. Strawberry shortcake.
The strawberry shortcake for sure.
Right. I was having my pregnant wife knows this, and she came up with, this smells like what strawberry shortcake's motor oil would smell like. She
actually will smell it.
Oh, yeah. She got motor oil and strawberry shortcake, so I said strawberry shortcake's car motor oil. But very reminiscent to me of the Octomore 14.2. Very strawberry, jammy forward, along with a lot of smoke. Not quite as much smoke as that.
I gotta say, it's a very subtle nose overall. Like, some whiskeys really jump out of the glass. This one, you have to dig in and really kind of appreciate it's subtle. It's only, 100 proof, 50 ABV. But you're right. I mean,
54.5, 110.
I get a little butterscotch lifesavers left on the beach to where it gets some salinity, salt, maritime with a little butterscotch.
Dirty, but it isn't going to give you an infection.
Yeah.
What are those candies the old people always had?
Butterscotch.
Yeah, but what was Werther's, yeah.
Werther's Originals.
It's got a little bit of, it's like Werther's meets a little bit of
You could convince me
menthol.
Werther's on the beach left in the sand with the salt as well.
I was actually thinking a little bit of Werther's in a wool sock drawer.
I tell you what though,
Which is where they were often kept.
You got a bunch of wool socks.
I don't. My grandparents, however.
Is there something you want to confess, Dustin? Take us through it. I tell you what, though, you would never get 9 years old on the nose. I mean, for being 9 years old and a fairly big ABV, I know you just weren't impressed with it, but 110 proof is still decent.
No, it's decent. I'm just saying that it's subtle.
Yeah.
No, you're right. It's not overpowering. It is not. It's like Octomores. When I had my first Octomore, when I saw it was 260 ppm or whatever it was, I was expecting to get blown out of the glass. It was inviting.
Yeah.
But
Same here.
Octomore is a much more intense amount of sweetness that comes through, whereas this is just subtle.
I'm just trying to give.
Everything here is subtle. Is
Yeah.
what I'm getting at.
I'm trying to get. Don't get scared off by 55%. Don't get scared off by 9-year-old Isla. This is
there's
an
46% whiskeys that have more aroma coming off. This is a very subtle whiskey with nuance. I mean, there's a lot going on here. It's just subtle.
Dustin, I think you have palate fatigue. or nose fatigue.
There's a slight kind of metallic floral note that can be indicative of youth, but I agree. For a 9-year-old, it definitely smells older than it is. It doesn't. It's smoother than you would think.
I would think, too, also with 9 years, I would assume is a pretty aggressive tart style of wine that I would expect a little sharper tartar notes with this.
Totally agree.
Yeah, I'm thinking almost
well made.
Again, I'm leaning towards minty over that metallic, but I think it's sort of mint metallic. And there's a bit of that red wine note.
I sort of get like an Ardbeg tobacco note, and I think I'm saying the same thing that you guys are in a subtly different way.
A little burlap sack.
Well, and you know what
Burlap sack.
what Mike just said there is I've been thinking about Ardbeg this whole time. Like I was in my head thinking Ardbeg 10 versus this, and going, why do I keep going back to Ardbeg 10? But there's an Ardbeg like note here, yeah. Cooling, yes, the
Cool
cooling effect.
Ardbeg tobacco or something. All right, let's see what this bad boy tastes like.
There was actually a couple guys talking about there was one of these like whiskey exams that are out there where they do actually have to taste the whiskeys, and they were talking about how they could identify certain distilleries. They talked about Ardbeg was the only Isle of Peat that cooled when they tasted it versus being warming. On the nose, this is cooling.
Menthol, linen cloth, butterscotch, Werther's with salt thrown on it.
That all sounds like we've been just going through. Yeah, exactly. With some strawberry.
Twiggy smoke, some strawberries.
And a little bit of gasoline.
Yeah.
Dirty earth, gasoline. Heavy strawberry oil. But then like a nice like vanilla cream kind of comes up here at the end. It's a good inviting smoke. Man, it's got a lot of things going on here.
Punchier than I expected.
Yeah, punchy for sure. A little bit of spice kick up here, a little cinnamon swell.
Buttercream wedding cake frosting.
Like up front,
Lot going on.
yeah. Up front, I mean, I guess we kind of got a little more of the gasoline note. Funky. I almost want to call it brown wine. It's not red. It's not white. It's brown.
I really would like to know what kind of wine this is.
Yeah, we'll do some research after the fact, and we'll put it maybe in the description. But I'll forget. But I'll try to remember. But yeah, it hits up with a punch of like tobacco,
A little apple juice.
spice.
And then drying kind of after it sits on your palate for a minute. It kind of has that dry like
Cran apple?
red wine crab apple sort of dryness to it.
Cran apple, the cranberry apple.
Actually,
like
I like that better.
There's an apple juice note.
Almost like a craisin note if you're a salad person.
yeah. Well, no, Keith, cran apple. So it's like apple juice and cranberry juice, a little bit kind of mixed.
Yeah.
That's what it is, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's the tartness along with the apple.
You can tell it's definitely. I mean, I'd be stunned if this wasn't a red wine. I don't know what this wine is, but if this is not a red wine, I'm shocked.
Yeah, I mean, like, my question usually is it red or is it dessert red? You know, like sherry is a dessert kind of thing.
I don't think it's a dessert red.
And I don't think so either. And that's kind of what's...
I think it's $3, you're at the racetrack, and it's a Wednesday. And it's not been your day type of wine.
You're at the dog racing tracks.
Dog racing tracks.
It's not as red as I would think it would be, though, for a race.
Some greyhounds.
I worked at a harness racing track in high school, like in the summer times. And we also had a dog racing track right here in my main city. And there is a difference.
Oh, yeah.
There's your thoroughbred racers, there's your harness racing, and then there's your dog racers.
You know, I worked literally like a mile from a harness racing track for years, and I never got over there just to see it once, just for the heck of it. I really should have.
Everybody at dog racing track is smoking Marlboros.
Marble Reds?
One of the two. Everyone. Even the children. They might be smoking Marlboro Lights.
This is a great 9-year-old whiskey. I'll say that.
Agreed.
It's a really good 9-year-old whiskey.
$110, solid. Once again, Port Charlotte. Port Charlotte, I have never, even independent islands, I've never been disappointed with one of them.
No.
There's a tanginess and a
product.
sweetness. Now, water really kind of added, like, kind of brought down that punchiness to it. It just made it like tangy, sweet. I'm not even sure what to call that. This is just another example of where these guys are putting out great whiskey, and it continues to do the one thing I hate to say, and that is make me not want to buy Octomore, because why do I buy Octomore when these are so good and half or a third the price?
Again, when I was looking at Whiskey Dust and we were having the conversation, there were some Octomores there to be had. 12s, 14s, I want to say a 15 as well, but there was 5 or 6 in those series on the website.
15's not out yet, but yeah.
I'm sorry. It was 12s and 14s. You're right. 12s and 14s. I want to say there's... Okay. Anyway. This is such an easy buy for half the price.
Yeah.
It's not even half. It's like 40%, 35%.
And again, we've proven, because we've done them side by side before.
Side by side.
And I think we split on which one we liked better.
These are better buys than Octomore.
But, I mean, when you factor pricing, we were like I think I picked the Octomore, but I was like, but this much, and the price difference is this much.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, we'll compare this to 14.2 Octomore because they're very similar whiskeys. And
it's another dirty experimental. The twos are experimental wine.
It's a red style wine, crab apple style wine. I hate to say crab apple. That's a poor way to say it.
No, the more I've been going back, this is more refined.
Do we know what the ppm level is on this?
No, they're around the 45, 50, I think, in general, but I don't think they list it.
I thought more like 35.
You could be right.
But I'm not sure.
No, you're right. It's got to be, because 45 is Ardbeg, and so they're less. Yeah, they're probably in the 30s.
I think they're 25 to 35, somewhere in there. But a good, solid peat backbone. I mean, which again shows you, if you have this and Octomore back-to-back, Octomore has, 10 times the amount of peat that these have. 10 times, 8 times, 6 times, substantially more. Do you get it
never but it never tastes
But
like
you can't taste it, no.
The way they measure that is kind of like they do it before cask maturation and all
and there's different standards for how different distilleries do it. It's a lot of marketing.
I'm not saying it's unfounded, but what I'm saying is at the end result for us as a consumer,
yeah,
the difference between Port Charlotte heavily peated, and it does say heavily peated.
Yeah,
the difference between Port Charlotte heavily peated and Octomore, to my taste buds, which this is Whiskey Review 50 something.
Yeah.
It's not that much different. I love Iowa whiskey.
It's not enough to justify.
Right.
I'll tell you what, on that finish, you get a lot of like salt and black pepper just dancing on your tongue. Pepper, 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 in a good way. With all those sweet notes that we talked about.
I'm gonna have to pour a little more of this one to help my analysis here. It's for my analysis. It's not just because I want to drink more.
For science.
Yeah.
So guys, where are you at as far as a whiskey score on this one?
It's a solid 88, man. I'm giving it probably one more point just because it's so good for the price. Like, wow. I love Port Charlotte's distillate.
Keith, I don't think you're giving an extra point. I'm right there with you. It's an 88. It's just
good.
It's just a solid, good whiskey. And for $108, $10, $11, something like that.
Can't beat it.
What about this for? That's a great buy for an 88.
In this whiskey market?
Absolutely. Really ever. You know what I mean? I mean, again, when you're talking 54.5% ABV, it is a young whiskey. That's its only knock. But, I mean, as far as flavor, taste,
good cast, non-chill filtered, high ABV.
Yeah, I'm 87 neat, 88 with water, so we'll give it an 88. I'm with you right there. But, yeah, it's great. 87 because it's a little punchy neat in a little bit unrefined way, but also kind of a fun way.
Yeah.
Like, because I always think of 87 as like, that's your fun whiskey.
I thought 88's a good fun whiskey.
And 88's a good fun, but 88 starts to get where you're starting to look for refinement, and a drop of water in this, it just refines itself right up. So I'm going to give it the 88. Great example, and God, the price is phenomenal.
Really good.
Yeah. Everyone same scores again? Two star whiskey reviews? I liked it.
I mean, if you want, I'll go 87.5 just to be different if you really want me to. But no, 88's the legit score.
Well, those are our thoughts on this particular whiskey. If you had a chance to try this PMC 01 for 2013 Port Charlotte heavily peated, we would recommend it. We would recommend it for the price, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I recommend the OLC as the same. Good whiskey buys. Port Charlotte's never disappointed. Official bottlings or non-official bottlings, independent bottlings.
Yeah. So now
range, they've all been good.
There are a couple other finishes. I know there's an S, and I can't remember. I think there's one or two more. So guys, down in the comments, what are we forgetting to get to? What do we need to review?
Yeah, we did the OLC, the PMC. There was another one we can get our hands on.
There's at least an S, but I think there might be one or two more. So let us know, because I can't keep up with like which ones are out there, and
and we can find them.
Put a comment down there, because they're usually available.
Yeah, we can make that happen. Anyway, those are thoughts on this particular whiskey. We want to once again thank our buddy Keith from the Malted Man Cave for showing up and doing a couple whiskey reviews with us. And Dustin,
anytime. I'm always happy to come drink your guys' expensive whiskey.
we're happy to have you. Dustin, until next time, what do we wish the folks?
Happy drinking with good friends.
We'll see you next time.